All right, here we go. Another quick tutorial video on product rule with calculus and doing derivatives. Again, product rule is f of x times g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. All right, let's look at our first example, example number 1. We have y is equal to 3x minus 4 times x cubed minus 5. So we label f of x and g of x. So if we follow along, it's f of x, so just the regular f of x, 3x minus 4, times g prime of x, so bring the 3 down, and we reduce the power by 1, that's 3x squared, plus g of x, just bring g of x, x cubed minus 5. F prime, well, it's just 3x, so we take the derivative of x and we get 3. X1 minus goes away, so we end up with 3, and the 4, obviously that's a constant, so that will also go away. So now we can distribute 3x squared into this binomial here. We get 9x cubed minus 12x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. X squared. Over here we can distribute this 3 into this binomial, so 3x cubed minus 15. Combine like terms. Here's a 3x cubed. There's a 3x cubed. So there's an x cubed, and there's an x cubed. I add those together to get 12x cubed. Then we have negative 12x squared, and then minus 15. We notice that there's a factor of 3 that could be factored out, so our final y prime is 3 times the quantity 4x cubed minus 4x squared minus 5. All right, on to the next one. Here we have square root of x times x squared plus 8. All right, we label f of x and g of x. So then we take f of x is the square root of x times g prime of x. Well, bring the 2 down. That's just 2x. 8's a constant, so it goes away. Plus g of x. Then we get 1 divided by 2 square root of x. And I challenge you to pause the video now and figure out how did I get 1 over 2 root x from the square root of x. All right, well, welcome back. Let's see if I can show you how that happens. So if we have x to the 1/2 power, remember your power rules, then that will go, when we take that derivative, we'll bring this down, so it'll be 1/2, and then x. Then you recall that we need to subtract 1. So 1/2 minus 1 is a negative 1/2, so x to the negative 1/2 power. Anytime we see this negative, it immediately tells us that we need to go to the denominator. Bring it down. So then we get 1 over 2 times x to the 1/2 in the denominator. And the 1/2 is just the square root of 2, so that is equal to 1 over 2 root x. All right, that's how we got it. Okay, and check your answer. Hopefully you got the same one. All right, so that's that. Then we are there. Then we can combine like terms and simplify. So 2x, now this, remember, if you recall, is x to the 1/2 power. So in times 2x, we bring the 2. 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. And then we get over here x squared over 8 plus 2 root x for this final answer here. All right. Example number 3. We have cube root of x times the cosine of x. So we label f of x and g of x. F of x is just the cube root of x times g prime of x. Well, the derivative of cosine is negative sine. If you need further information, watch a couple videos ago and you'll see the derivative of cosine is negative sine. Then we just bring g prime of x in here, and then we end up with 1 over, for the f prime of x, 1 over 3 times the cube root of x squared. How did we get that? Again, pause the video, write it up, see, but it's very similar to the situation we had before. Then, once we want to wrap it up, we can move this sign out here so it doesn't look like we're taking the cube root of x minus sine of x. It's a multiplier, so we can bring that negative outside. Plus, cosine then can go in the numerator, and your 3 root of x to the squared power is where we end up. Alright? So, hopefully that helps. Have a great night. That is the product rule. Thanks.